might seem strange to do all of this work and then leave it, but, but that's what we're doing. We've now finished the garden and we're heading back to Positano for a week.
Sì, abbiamo deciso di andare a Positano perché la nostra famiglia ci aspetta. Sky ci aspetta, mamma ci aspetta e siamo felici di tornare.
And luckily Giovanni is going to be here. He's going to check on the garden, water it when it needs it, and he's also going to plant some cucumbers apparently, so when we come back there might be more to see. But
Sì.
Everything's going really well.
Sì, sarà bello venire fra un po' e vedere cosa è successo.
Right, should we get going?
Sì, sì, andiamo.
Okay.
Oh, bella, bella, bella questa bambina.
Now I did buy a few plants too many. These are the leftovers. There's some arugula, some celery, some zucchini and tomatoes. I'm going to stick them in the car and take them back to Positano and plant them there. Why not? I'm sure Luca will be happy to have them. You're very lucky, girlies. You get to sit in the back seat instead of in the boot. You're very lucky. Okay, so we're on our way to Positano. We're in between, where are we? Rome and Naples, I think. And the car has literally just come to a complete standstill in the middle of the motorway. There wasn't even a hard shoulder. So it's literally on the slow lane, on a bridge, in the middle of a 3-lane motorway with no hard shoulder. We've had to call 118 or 911, 999, whatever you want to call it. It's been terrifying. There's lorries hurtling down the motorway. I had to run up like 100 meters further up, and I've been directing traffic and getting them to come out of the slow lane into the middle lane. The car's nearly been hit about 10 times. Carla's now directing traffic. I've come off in front of the car. There's a little hard shoulder here, and I've come over the barrier and I'm sitting on the grass with the dogs, but oh my god, it couldn't have stopped in a worse place. No idea where we are. I've got a pounding headache now as well. Thing is, if the car had managed to go just another 100 meters, we would have made it. We would have made it to the hard shoulder. We would have been a little bit safer. I have no idea what happened. I think there was still petrol in it. I think it said 150 kilometers of petrol still to go, but it just started braking by itself. I was in the middle lane, I was driving, and the car just suddenly started braking, and it was like it was resisting me pushing the pedal, and I thought, let me pull over into the slow lane just in case. Thank God I did. And it just ground to a halt, and it wouldn't start, it wouldn't do anything. So very, very scary. I knew we should have gone with the Audi. The Audi was much more trustworthy. We've never had a problem with that. Orte. So we had to ride in our car rather than in the cab of the tow truck because the guy didn't want the dogs in the tow truck.
Oh, Dio mio, che paura.
Look, no hands. That was possibly one of the most scary things I've ever done.
Allora, io ho visto i camion che ci stavano praticamente camminando addosso.
Sì, sì. Uno quasi per niente.
Possiamo spegnere queste 4 frecce.
He's brought us to a gas station, which he actually said he couldn't do. He said he had to take us to a mechanic, but he's actually brought us to a gas station just in case it is the petrol that's run out. So we're going to try and put some in and see if it starts again. I'm really hoping it is the petrol, which would be really embarrassing. But the guy who we bought the car off said that sometimes it says that you've got like 150 kilometres of petrol left, but you haven't. And it did say we had 150 kilometres worth of petrol left. So maybe that is true. When it gets to 150, it means there's absolutely nothing, which is a bit odd really. But let's hope that this is it, because it's just going to save so much time. If it's something else, something more serious, we don't really know what we're going to do. Where do we go? We're in Capua, which I don't really... We're sort of, yeah, in between Naples and Rome. And what do? We have to find a mechanic. And then do we get a train back to Florence or to Naples? What do we do? We've got all of our stuff to lug with us and the dogs. What a nightmare.
Ha detto farlo 2 o 3 volte. Perché non ha dato nessun... non dà nessun errore, capito? Nemmeno la cosa là, capito che ti voglio dire io? Cioè, ma tu hai capito che se ho fatto il piede siamo arrivati a Caniello è finito? E quanto succhia sta macchina? Che se non va...
All'officina?
mi sa che c'è a me per forza.
Questa che vicino. Fai tu senza russo,
Ma c'è un momento.
Prova la tua.
So off to the mechanics we go. So it looks like he's taking us to a hotel.
Sì, ci sta portando direttamente all'albergo, non dal meccanico.
But if the mechanic is next to a hotel, which actually looks quite nice, that's at least a bonus.
Era la nafta, è finita la nafta. Questa macchina c'ha un difetto, non ti segnala quando finisce la nafta e consuma tantissimo.
Wow.
Cioè stavamo morendo perché il sensore della benzina, della nafta in questo caso, non funziona.
Wow.
E io non pensavo che consumavo così tanto.
No.
Con l'Audi torniamo a casa e ci rimane anche
sì. Well,
altri 200 km da fare.
we don't bring this car to Positano anymore.
Stavamo morendo Vabbè, adesso è a posto, possiamo tornare a casa. Il meccanico ha raccomandato, ogni 300 km fermati e fai il piede. Cos'è, una Ferrari questa roba qua?
Dio mio.
Io non posso credere al fatto che è così pericoloso andare sull'autostrada se si blocca la macchina e non hai lo spazio. Allora, la 1 c'ha la corsia di emergenza dappertutto, tranne nel pezzo, nella parte dove ci siamo fermati noi.
Yeah.
Incredibile.
Yeah. We were literally on a bridge with 3 narrow lanes, lorries hurtling at us at 120 km an hour.
Solo 100 metri più avanti c'era la corsia di
that's
emergenza.
where I was waiting. That's where I went and climbed over the barrier and sat and waited for the dogs. But oh my god, that was so scary. Oh. Okay, let's see if we can get home now. So I know you always want to know how much everything costs. So the tow truck cost €200, and the mechanic, who basically had to...
fatto uno spurgo della nafta negli inettori, altrimenti la macchina non partiva.
and that cost €50. So, and then obviously filling up the car again with petrol, that was another 80. So all in all, it was €250 plus €80 worth of petrol. That's just cost us that little adventure.
Vabbè, ma
But we're still alive.
Il costo della benzina è normale,
Yeah,
no?
yeah. But now we know we have to stop for petrol way more often than we thought. We've made it. We're back in Positano. Carla's just going to go and park the car quickly and then we're going to go home. We're both absolutely exhausted. Just, yeah, really worn out from the terror. I think it's the best word to say it. It really was very scary. Anyhow, we're back, we're safe, and we're going to go home, have some dinner. Sky's cooked for us. And luckily we don't have much to carry down, so that's not a problem. And I think I'm going straight to bed tonight, so I will see you all tomorrow. I think we were more shaken than we first realised by our near-death experience. In the hours afterwards, and even for a while once we were driving again, part of me wasn't entirely convinced that we had actually made it out alive. It felt impossible somehow, with the image of those enormous trucks still rushing towards us in my mind. What if we're actually dead and just don't realise it? I said to Carlo. What if we get home and Sky can't even see us? Thankfully, we arrived home and everybody could definitely see us, which was very reassuring. We spent the first day quietly at home, grateful to be there, grateful to be alive, and still a little unsteady inside. The next morning, Carlo went to visit his mother with Holly, and I took Indy for a long walk up the mountain, through the hole in the rock and down the other side. As I walked, I kept thinking about how quickly a life can change, or end, for reasons so small and absurd. One mechanical failure, one moment of bad luck, 1 second in the wrong place. We move through our days imagining that life is steady and guaranteed, when really it's balanced on the finest thread. And yet, strangely, most of the time, we don't feel afraid. We make plans, we postpone things, we assume there'll be another summer, another conversation, another chance to say what we mean to say. Perhaps that's the only way we can live at all, by forgetting most days how fragile everything is. I also found myself wondering, what if we really did have only 9 lives? Surely that motorway would have cost us one. And last year on the French motorway, when a reckless driver tried to force us off the road, perhaps that was another one gone too. If we only had 9, how many had we already used without noticing? How many times had disaster passed so close we never even knew it was there? How many invisible turns had fate already taken on our behalf? Maybe life is not made up only of the moments we remember, but also of all the endings that almost happened and didn't. By the time I reached the top of the mountain, the world looked as it always does, calm, ancient, indifferent. Trees moved in the wind, birds carried on singing, the valley stretched out below me, untouched by my private dramas. And I felt something closer to peace. Not because life had become safer, but because it never was. Perhaps gratitude is born in moments like these, when you realise nothing was promised and yet somehow you're still here, still walking, still breathing, still lucky enough to begin again.
Allora, sono appena tornato dal meccanico e lui mi dice che il problema sì è certamente che il galleggiante che è nel serbatoio del gasolio non misura l'esatta, come si dice, contenuto del serbatoio, quindi non misura quanti litri di gasolio ci sono. Ha provato a ordinare questo pezzo, non sarà qui prima di 2 settimane. Non si farà in tempo, forse è meglio di ordinare questo pezzo quando saremo in Toscana. Per quanto riguarda se è sicuro per tornare con questa macchina in Toscana, ci ha detto io non te lo posso assicurare, ma sembrerebbe che il problema è questo. Quindi non ci può dare nessuna certificazione, basta che noi ci fermiamo dopo 300 km, partendo con il pieno, mettiamo altro gasolio e dovremmo essere a posto.
Luca was planting onions, so I stopped what I was doing to watch and learn a bit more. Quando ho messo le cipolle ho dimenticato di fare... così.
Un po'... Tu qua... No, fai buco, fai gira a destra, così, largo a destra.
We also planted the spare starters that I brought back from Tuscany, the zucchini, celery, arugula and tomatoes.
Come se non è fatto tipo di... quando fanno i fiori di non rompere i fiori, perché una volta che hai rotto i fiori poi dopo il pomodoro non esce.
Perché il pomodoro i
Sì,
fiori
devi legare dove è duro giù,
sì,
no, no
sì.
sopra.
E anche il fatto che tutto. We've just been to visit our neighbour and we've come away and he's given us 2 fresh lettuces, which is great because I didn't have any at home. He's also said help yourself to eggs. Look how many eggs they've got.
Oh my god.
I really do miss having chickens, so we do need a few eggs. So I will take some. 1, 2, oops, 3, 4.
Non li rompere.
I'll try not to break them. 5, 6. That seems like a fair amount to take. We'll hang their egg basket back up.
Si bagna, non assorbe l'acqua, invece la sabbia assorbe l'acqua. E quando invece si secca, si fa tosto come una presa. Ancora migliore, se vuoi. Ma invece è dura, invece si sentito a 50 km. Là invece è scivoloso, è come l'argilla, ci sta mescata l'argilla, è sabbia e argilla.
Thank you for watching. Join us again on Wednesday on our other channel, Aperitivo 50, where we ask some Positano locals for their best tourist tips.